When I was a beginning gardener, I thought that the best place to go was the big box store because that was the most accessible. But what I discovered was that big box stores are there to make money, not make you a better gardener. So today's episode, we're gonna go through the garden center here, and we're gonna show you different products that I'd highly recommend avoiding when it comes to starting a garden. Let's go. Okay, the first product that I highly recommend avoiding, if at all possible, are these peat pots. Now, these to me seem super convenient because they are advertised to biodegrade in the soil and they seem like a very eco-friendly option to starting seeds. But what I can say, and with 100% certainty, is that these will make your seed starting experience harder than easier. They often hold on to too much water. They are biodegradable, so they're going to run the risk of rotting and molding in your greenhouse or in your grow room. And the other thing is, as well, is I found that they actually didn't break down as fast as I wanted them to, leading for the roots to coil around. And also, because they are porous, it absorbs water and my plants would dry out really fast. I would so much rather go with a plastic seed starting container, something that is not moisture wicking, not gonna break down or decompose. I would highly recommend it. The next thing that I'd highly recommend until you get more experienced are peat pellets. In the same exact way that peat pots can reduce your success, if you don't know how to control moisture, peat pellets are not something that I would recommend. You can have success, but for a beginning gardener, I would absolutely avoid. It seems like a convenience factor, but at the end of the day, they're gonna hold on to too much water, and the netting that goes around the peat pots often does not break down and can lead to your roots being suffocated. So avoid those as well. The next thing I would say that I would highly recommend avoiding when it comes to big box stores and seed starting supplies is, shockingly, seed starting mix. I can't tell you that the switch that I made with going with my own seed starting mix, one that I could create myself, or with a professional seed starting mix like Pro Mix, the results that I got were night and day. These seed starting mixes, I'm not saying you're going to fail if you use them. The problem is, and I don't know why it is, I think it probably has something to do with cost and profit, probably more than likely. But what I've found is that these are way too sifted. They're so sifted that oftentimes either the coconut husk fiber or the peat moss, whatever they use as their medium, it ends up being so fine that it binds and holds onto water, does not allow the air to actually penetrate the soil. It doesn't have good aeration. It doesn't have good drainage. It really lacks a lot of the components that make a good seed starting mix good. And oftentimes I find that I had a lot of damping off, I had a lot of root rot, and I actually had a really hard time getting the roots to penetrate through the soil just because they lack a lot of the slightly larger particles that are found in a really high quality seed starting mix, like a medium grade or even a slightly coarse grade of perlite and vermiculite, or even some slightly larger chunks of humus or kind of organic material that kind of aids in that aeration, rather than having everything so microscopically fine that a lot of gardeners, they see seed starting mix and they say, I'm starting seeds, I need a seed starting mix. We've talked about this, that any mix can be a good seed starting mix if it has the right combinations. Fine is not always good. It can be too fine. And that, in this case, I often find that these seed starting mixes at big box stores, all of them, for whatever reason, are just way too fine. Okay, the next thing that I would highly recommend avoiding as a beginning gardener are starter plants. Now, I just gotta let this be known. Obviously, my stance is a little bit biased. I would so much prefer you start from seeds than starts. And the reason why is because oftentimes starts at big box stores are just not taken care of like the way that seeds are. Seeds you can grow yourself. Seeds, you can control the environment from start to finish. You know what you're fertilizing them with, you know how much you're watering them. Oftentimes, these plants in big box stores are not always going to be the best for beginning gardeners, simply because a store clerk doesn't know how to take care of these. It's not their expertise. They're not trained on how much water a strawberry needs, how much water a basil needs, and oftentimes I find that they look great until you get them home and then they completely croak And oftentimes as beginning gardeners, we feel like it's on us, like we did something wrong and they're just not maintained properly. Sometimes they're not given enough light and they get leggy. Sometimes they're overwatered and they start to get root rot. You bring them home and they rot. It's just a big problem with plants. Not even that, affordability wise is also a problem. Seeds, you're gonna get 10 times more bang for your buck than you will with plants. But I just cannot tell you how many times beginning gardeners will instantly go to a big box store. They see all these bright and flashy objects, plants, and they say, that is what I want. But at the end of the day, you are really going to be setting yourself back with a lesser quality product. If you're going to go with plants, go with a local garden center. Go with a local small family-owned garden center. Support local. Those are usually raised right there on the premise. They're not shipped hundreds of miles or even in some cases thousands of miles. They are grown right there on the premise more often than not. They are cared for by people that know what they're doing, and you're oftentimes going to get a better deal and a better quality product. But if you insist on getting something from a big box store, it would be seeds. There's nothing wrong with getting seeds from a big box store because those, like I said, they're pretty much, for most people, they're going to get the job done. Or you can go over to a place like MIgardener.com and get them shipped to your door. But if you're going to a big box store and you want to get started there, seeds over plants all day long. And this is the final thing that I would never, under any circumstances, get from a big box store. I would avoid them like the plague. That is their live boxed plants, their dormant plants. These, as you can see, are not receiving the care that they deserve. There are so many plants, unfortunately, that are dry and dead. And the problem is as a beginning gardener, I fell for this so many times. You can't tell if this is a dormant plant or not. This could be dormant or it could be dead. Chances are it's probably dead. But if I'm buying a dormant plant and it doesn't have leaves on it yet, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm getting. And I could bring it home, I could set it in a pot and hope for the best. And if you don't have the receipt, or it's longer than 30 days, sometimes it's longer than 60 days, they have these return policies, every store is different. You might be stuck paying $8, $9, $10 for a plant and end up getting, quite literally, a dead plant. These are just an absolute avoid, in my opinion. Yes, they do have ones that are growing, absolutely, but we're not able to plant them right now. We still have 23-degree weather out. No one in their right mind is planting out a Chicago cold hardy fig outside right now. Yes, it could grow technically in Michigan, but because it is growing already, you don't want to plant it outside. Cold hardy kiwi, yes, absolutely. When it's dormant, you could put it outside as a bare root plant. It'd probably be fine. It's growing right now. If we throw it outside right now, it's just going to die. So then you have to hold it inside. Well, what do? Well, you're literally going to kill it inside. It's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. And half these, like I said, are already dead to begin with because they just haven't received the love and care that they deserve. So absolutely 100% avoid these at all costs. Even though they're already, here at our local Meijer, they're already 50% off. Completely avoid them. They're not worth it. All right, and one other thing too is a lot of times, I think we already know this by now, sometimes the prices are just stupid. Like this is $16 for 3 strawberry plants. I mean, guess whatever floats your boat, but wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, this is $6 for a single basil plant. All right, buddy. All right, so we just got back in the car to head back to the office. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. And I think the big takeaway from this is that I don't want you to feel like maybe you already went out and you already bought these products. Don't feel like you're gonna fail. If you can return them, maybe do your research, maybe find something better, maybe consider returning them because I do think that you're going to have better results with other products out there. But I also don't want you to feel like you're going to completely fail and your season's over. I know that you could probably feel like that. You can still have a garden using these products. You just gotta be very careful, very, very careful. And you also have to set your expectations a little bit lower because those results are not gonna be probably what you're expecting or what you see online with people using a little more professional products and equipment. That being said, I think the big takeaway though is that big box stores, regardless of the ones you go to, they're not specializing in a product. They're there to serve the largest audience possible. Again, they're looking out for profits, not for success. It doesn't matter if you're going to Lowe's or Home Depot, if you're going to Meijer or Kroger, or if you're going to Target or Walmart. There's different big box stores from every kind of niche, whereas Home Depot doesn't sell groceries, right? but for some reason there's a crossover where there's like a home and garden crossover, and they both feel the need to sell plants and seed starts and garden supplies. It doesn't matter which ones you go to. They're catering for either beginners, which are oftentimes not always informed, or convenience. And in that case, you don't give a flying flip if the results are bad. You just want it and you want it now and you don't care. And so they're profiting off of ignorance and convenience, which I don't think are two things that you really are looking for if you're watching this video. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. Oh, and one final thing, sorry. If you want the best results, what you should do is you should seek out niche sectors, niche stores. Seek out a small family-owned garden center. Seek out a small hydroponic store or a garden center greenhouse, and you're gonna find better results there. That's all I'm saying. They are actually trying to sell you a product in a very specific niche. So they're gonna be more knowledgeable, and they're most likely gonna carry products that are gonna be best suited for best results. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. See ya, bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I wanna thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.